Counselor Mackey.
Present.
Counselor Gamble.
Present.
Counselor Burley.
Present.
Counselor Carlton. Counselor McQueen.
Present.
Counselor Desai.
Present.
Counselor Patterson.
Present.
Warden Hicks.
Here.
Counselor Clumpus. Counselor Keaveney. Counselor Boddy.
Present.
Counselor O'Leary.
Present.
Counselor Woodbury.
Present.
Counselor Millen.
Present.
Counselor Soever.
Present.
Counselor Barnicki.
Present.
Counselor Robinson.
Present.
Counselor Hutchinson.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to begin with any declaration of pecuniary interest. If one does not, declare it at that time. See none. Still, a couple of things. I know that our procedural bylaws allow for the option of standing when you're addressing council or sitting. It's this warden's preference that you stand. I always stand. However, I appreciate that the bylaw says you have the option to stand or sit. I'll just say that. Next is minutes. The other thing is I will not be reading all of the motions. Some of you may have been used to that. I think that some councils have a practice of reading those motions. My preference is that we not read it. I think you all have the packages and you have read them in advance, so I will not be reading the motions. So we'll start with item 5A, Committee of the Whole minutes that are dated on November 22nd. You have those before you. Looking for Councillor Burley, seconded by Councillor Woodbury. I'm going to be struggling with names for a little bit, so you'll pardon me while I get used to all of you. And you'll help.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's on the floor. Is there any discussion about those minutes? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Item B, County Council closed meeting minutes. For the newer people, if you don't see that in your package, it's in that little column that says closed minute meetings, items. So if you click that, you will see those minutes. So I'm looking for a mover. Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Clumpus. Is there any discussion with respect to those minutes? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. And thirdly, County Council minutes dated December the 4th. I'm looking for a mover. Councillor Mackey, thank you. And Councillor McQueen, seconded. Is there any discussion about those minutes? And seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. We have no closed. Okay, thank you. Turning next to, we have two sets of bylaws before you. Bylaws 503-9-19 and 5040-19. We're going to move those together, is that correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay, oh, thank you.
It's right
Over
there.
the screen here, holy cow, I'm all set up. Thank you. Councillor Robinson moves and seconded by Councillor Desai. Can I get it seconded? Would you like to second it?
Sure.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Desai. And now I'll entertain any questions, yes?
Thank you. If I wanted to ask questions of clarity with regards to one particular bylaw, do they have to be moved together, or can they be moved together and then allow me to ask questions for one particular bylaw?
You can ask questions. They're both on the floor, but you can
Yes.
ask questions.
My question is with regards to bylaw 5039-19. One of the, and I forget which particular schedule relates to parking, wintertime parking. And my question was, through your worship, what sort of enforcement do we have? And are we able to enforce these schedules, or are we just passing bylaws without being able to enforce them?
Okay, so Mr. Hoy?
Through you, Mr. Warden, yeah, enforcement is the responsibility of the member municipalities. We don't actually, Grey County doesn't have their own enforcement piece with our traffic bylaws.
I'm going to be going with names here, sorry. Councillor Soever.
Yes, in looking at the list under the parking, I'm wondering, there doesn't seem to be a lot of places where parking is prohibited on county roads. I'm wondering if we have a policy around schools and libraries where there's a lot of pedestrian crossings. I know we have one in the town of Blue Mountains at Napier and Bruce, where a lot of children cross there and there's parking allowed quite close to that intersection. So is there a policy where we should have additional zones where there are pedestrian crossings, or do we have a policy on pedestrian crossings?
Mr. Hoy?
Through you, Mr. Warden, currently we don't have a policy. At this committee's discretion, we could bring a report back or look into that a little bit with what Town Blue Mountains does and see if that suits our needs, if that's, we could look into that.
Oh, Councillor Robinson then. Yeah.
Thank you, Warden Hicks. With respect to proposed bylaw 5039, has there been consultation with police services as well as municipal enforcement to ensure that there's compatibility and the ability to provide enforcement?
Through you again, Mr. Warden, yes, we do send this out to all of our member municipalities and the police services as well. So we haven't really heard back a lot from them on those issues, but we haven't heard any negative about it either, so.
Okay, thank you.
Miss any other hands? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Turn now to item 8, good news and celebrations. Do we have any? There must be tons of good news. And lots of celebrations too, I'm certain. Councillor Mackey.
Thanks, Mr. Warden. On behalf of the Township of Chatsworth, I'd like to thank you for participating in our Chatsworth Santa Claus Parade last weekend. We had Christmas in the village and we had a wonderful day, so I do thank you. And Mr. Walker, Minister Walker also attended. And just like to wish all members of County Council and all of our staff a very Merry Christmas.
It's my pleasure to attend. It was a lot of fun. It was my first sort of official event too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Santa did see you.
Hopefully he doesn't know everything.
Santa knows all.
Any other good news and celebrations? Oh, Councillor Klumpus, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warden. I've just received notice of this, and it really makes me very proud to announce that we have a budding new star in the municipality of Meaford, 7 years old, and she is an Irish dancer, and she won first place solo premier championship in the Eastern Canada, I can't pronounce this, Oi Atches in 2018. This is a remarkable achievement, I think, at any age, but at 7 is really quite remarkable. And I think we have an affinity here with Owen Sound because it was through her Owen Sound teacher, a dance program, that she achieved this remarkable achievement. So another thing that we have to celebrate together. And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. Anything further? I have some good news. I was able to attend and I know others attended as well, the Morriston by Candlelight event. It was held over 2 days this year, the first time that was done, and I understand it was the first time as well you can buy your tickets in advance, which led to no lineups whatsoever, despite a record number in attendance. 2,100 people attended. If you have not had it was my first time attending this event, and if you have not had a chance to see it next year, mark it on your calendar. It was really excellent. You know, my daughter was there. I know that you were there, and who else did I see? I just can't quite remember. Kevin? Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. The volunteers are exceptional. They just seem to be delighted to tell you everything you need to know. And it was a very, very special event indeed. And on the same evening, I took a chance to drive through Harrison Park and see the lights down there. And I also had a chance to drive along the streets of Owen Sound and see the lights that were there. All of that on Sunday. And Saturday, I did attend the Chatsworth Christmas Parade. Is that it for good news and celebration? Okay, next is a motion for adjournment. I can always count on Mr. Burley. And Councillor McQueen seconds. Do we need to say all those in favor for this? Okay. Good, we'll just take a quick second and turn to